type of woman to make a man get right. You're my world. You keep my mind spinning on food.
Hey guys, I'm Jalen.
And I'm Casey, and we're teaching you how to discover your purpose,
Overcome the pressure, and live the blessed life. How you guys doing? Welcome back, family friends, or welcome us back. It's been a little while since we've done a live episode of the Jalen and Casey Show.
It's been a while.
But we haven't not been uploading videos and working and all that. And we're going to share a little bit about that with you today. So today we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out on this Tuesday afternoon. We didn't tell anybody we were going live. We didn't put anything out there. We didn't send out any blasts or schedule it. We decided to just go live and just talk to you guys because I was kind of my idea. I kind of wanted to be live and talk to the people.
Yeah, it's always your idea.
Kind of stuff, but it was cool. So yeah, let's talk about what we've been up to lately.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time we went live anyway? I don't even remember.
It's got to be a couple months ago. It was definitely before. No, we did another one at the camp meeting, I think.
I don't think so.
We did at least one. It's been a couple months, but
I feel like it's been like July or something last time we went live.
I think we did one in August. I think, but whatever. You guys can tell us. Let us know. Let us know in the comments. Obviously, if you comments, let us know where you're watching from. All of that. Give us a shout out. We'll shout you out here live on the show. But what we've been up to. So as you guys know, earlier this year, Casey started the Driven by Purpose community.
Which is going strong, by the way.
Yes, very strong. And if you follow her on social media, then you're aware of that, like on Instagram and all of that. And we've done community posts on the community tab. And thank you to everyone who interacts on the community tabs. We do see that, and we're thankful for everyone that participates. And thankful to the people. This one particular person who's been doing some super thanks lately. We don't really promote that.
I know. So thank you for the super thanks.
Yeah, but that's something that's there.
Super thank you.
Yeah, super thank you. But anyway, so back to Driven by Purpose. Let's just reintroduce it for anybody who's new, who has not seen anything by the Driven by Purpose community. What is Driven by Purpose?
Driven by Purpose.
Driven by Purpose. Fast. Driven by
So y'all really can't see the way his lips move behind the mic. They're like going so fast. But
Driven
yes,
by Purpose.
Driven is from your rapper days.
Okay.
Y'all know that, right?
Yes, I do, because the intro is the
okay,
rap.
but it's not really. It's not the heretic. Okay.
See,
we're not
way too many things to explain.
we're not going there. But anyway, Driven by Purpose is so beautiful, and I'm just so thankful that we have this, because over the last several months it's been very active. This past weekend I had my last event for the year, and that was Prepare for Tomorrow picnic, and it was just an awesome time of fellowship and impartation of the word. And I mean, the community is growing.
What is it?
The community.
What is the Driven by Purpose community? What is it
about?
What is the aim? What is it?
Okay.
For anybody who doesn't know.
Well, the Driven by Purpose community is a community to help you discover your purpose and for you to finally connect with who God made you to be. You know, it's always been my life's mission is to help people discover their beauty, discover their purpose, and really just get involved in the will of God for their lives. Mm-hmm. And so this is what this community is all about. And so I have a private Facebook group that I started about, a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago now. And in there, I have weekly devotionals, and it's really interactive, and we get to talk one-on-one. And then I have an Instagram page now, Driven by Purpose Devotionals, where I post devotionals and things like that. So it's really growing, and I'm really excited about it. And God is just using it to do great things, especially in the lives of women. And I'm really, really excited about it.
And who's it for?
It's for all women.
Okay. Men
too, because we had a man at our last event. It was unexpected, but hey, he was totally cool, and it was so awesome. You're always there, so. But it's for men too. But I focus a lot on the women, because the women that I've dealt with over the years in my life, they've always struggled with insecurities. I know I struggle with a lot of insecurities, and God is using that to break down those barriers and the walls and the insecurities and the fears, and just bring that like aha moment in people's life. Mm-hmm. And like, oh yeah, I need to do this. And recently the Lord has really been having me talk about the importance of discipline. Mm-hmm. And why it's so important that God is not holding up your dreams. He's not holding up the blessing, but it's our lack of discipline. It's our the things that we hold up in fear. Like we're afraid of moving away from the familiarity from the familiar because we're afraid. And somewhere down the line, you've convinced yourself, or you'll let people convince you that you're not ready for that, or you're not good enough for that. You're not smart enough. You're not intelligent, or time has moved on and it's too late for you. And that's all a lie. And we're living in a very crucial time. Jesus is soon to return. And the one thing I do not want to happen is that when he comes, I don't want him catching me not working and operating in the will that he set for my life. So, yeah.
All right. Awesome. No, yeah, it's been great. We look forward to the coming year for Driven by Purpose. On my end of things, I started a community for men called Overcome the Pressure.
And that's been very awesome as well.
Yeah, it's been great. We've had 2 meetings, and shout out to Style Right Barbershop, which is the location where I actually hold my meetings at this point in time. And like I said, we did 2 meetings starting in September. Yeah. And it's August, I think. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, the point is, it's been great. And so for Overcome the Pressure for the men is I have a heart for men as a man myself, who for the last several years has learned a lot in the face of God and spend time in the Spirit of God about what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
What the function and the call and the purpose of a man is, and then how to actually execute that in today's world. And it's the execution is the same as it was in the Garden of Eden with Adam walking in the garden with God, but we lost it when man sinned. We lost also the function of manhood as well, and how to function. And so as a result, we are now living in a world, we're operating under a cursed system where men are toiling, and the pressures of that toil and that pain manifests itself in our souls and our minds. And so we have depression and anxieties and fears and addictions and all of that. And all of that is just offshoots from that core issue of losing that connection with the Father. And so the Lord taught me that over the years. And so now I want to share that with men so that they can overcome the pressure, those depressions, those anxieties, those addictions. And then from there, go and conquer in this world and have dominion and authority and be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth as God intended for us to do in Christ. So, like I said, we have 2 meetings. They've been great. We started that community as well. I also have a mailing list.
Yes. We do have a mailing list for the Driven by Purpose community. I don't know if that's in the...
It's in the description of this live. Cool. And I'll put it in the comments after the video's archived.
Yeah, go check that out. Go sign up. It's no crazy spam, no crazy stuff. But weekly, I send out what the Lord ministers to me during my devotional time with him. And that's really where everything kind of launched, like sharing the heart of God. And just, I think, and I want to kind of backtrack a little bit because I know this channel has been known for marriage.
Well, I wanted to get there too. So hold on real quick. I'll just finish off for the Overcome the Pressure. We also have a mailing list. We'll leave that link as well. Yeah. So the way to connect with either of these communities, whether you're man or woman, is to join that mailing list, because that's where you'll get your weekly devotionals, and you'll also get notifications on the live events that we're going to be continuing to do. Yeah. And so now we can go. Yeah, go for that. Go.
So this channel has been known for marriage content, relationship content, and we are very passionate about that. God really healed our marriage and grew our marriage through what we teach you all the time here. But this year, when we came into this year, we began to ask the Lord to expand us and to grow. And I believe that we are starting to endeavor into that expansion and that growth that God is putting us to do. So it's not that we have abandoned the call of marriage and relationships, but now we want to focus more on, because people ask you all the time, how do you have a good marriage? How do you have good relationships? It starts with the individual. And from there, you can bring that to your marriage and into your relationships. So now we want to kind of go into the deeper parts of relationships, and that's the one with yourself. So we're starting to branch off. We're not going to abandon marriage and relationship things, but you want to start seeing more content that's going to be a little bit more focused on the woman, more focused on the man. That's going to really be helpful, because if you have a healed and whole woman and a healed and whole man coming together in a marriage, you can't stop them. They're unstoppable.
Exactly. And so a lot of what we learned that we've taught with marriage, things like that, there was also parallel to that individual development as husbands, as wives, that we were going through. And we've shared it at different points. You can look at some of the videos we've shared where we'll do something that's focused on a man, focused on a woman. But usually we were just talking about things that, communication, intimacy, trust, all of that. But now it's time for us to actually go in and say, okay, because what we've seen, whether we've dealt with people one-on-one or the questions we receive, what we've seen is a lack of self-development in men and women and as individuals. And so a lot of the questions that we're seeing from people and these conversations that we're having one-on-one is we're seeing the deficiency in a man and a woman individually. And so we need to get with them one-on-one and say, okay, these are things you need to do to develop individually that really has nothing to do with your spouse. And so that's what we're going to start doing now. And it goes back actually to the origin of the ministry that God charged us with like a week after we got married. The Lord spoke to me and said, open up your house and start speaking to couples. But we weren't even talking about marriage. God gave us names of people to invite to our apartment. And we were talking about the blessing of God. And that small apartment, that's what we did. And we started that. So we started with one-on-one. We didn't start with, live broadcasts and videos and things like that. And so I'm big on that missing the transition. Not missing when and it's making sure to shift. Exactly. And not missing the shift and understanding when it's time to shift and not getting stuck because you've done something a certain way for so long. And so that's what we're noticing with this channel. What we also realized is the core of what we do is not necessarily this channel. The core of what we do, we believe going forward is going to be these live engagements, these live events. And so right now we've been holding them in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia where we live, but we are going to have them across the nation and we'll go different places. And really where we go will be determined by the Spirit of God. We're not going to wait for invites. We're just going to go places and rent a place and
we're
hold a
coming.
Meeting. We're just going to do that. But the Spirit of God will lead us. That being said, if you're living in a certain place, and I say the United States, but the entire world, if you're living in a certain place and you would like us to come, sure, let us know, because that will kind of inspire us to say, okay, there are people there who want to hear it. But we now know how to advertise to a place and go to a place and hold a meeting. And we'll hold a meeting with one. We'll hold a meeting with 100. Exactly. Because we got something that we need to say. And since we've been holding these in-person meetings, it's not just motivational talking. At your meeting, both our meetings, we lay hands on people. We prayed with people. God spoke prophetically through us to people, all of that. And so, God is moving. And that's the kind of thing you can never substitute. While talking to a camera is great, you cannot substitute the laying on of hands, the impartation that comes one-on-one with people.
Absolutely. And I mean, kind of going back to building strong relationships, the problem with relationships is that people are trying to build a good relationship on broken people.
Yes. On
people who are fearful, bottled up, under a lot of pressure and stress, that they don't know how to communicate, all kinds of issues that a lot of people don't know how to navigate through. So they get into a relationship hoping that the relationship itself or the act of being in a marriage relationship is going to somehow resolve those issues. And it doesn't. As a matter of fact, it just makes it even worse. It magnifies your deficiencies even more, because when you're trying to make something one, you gotta be one. You gotta know how to even do that. And a lot of us don't know how to do that. So that's why the Lord is having us branch off and focus on the male and the female side of things a little bit more strategically. And again, God is still going to use us in the marriage department, relationship department. It all ties together. We have to kind of separate things, because that's how we learn, in little pieces at a time. But it all works together. It all works together, because you can't have healthy marriages without healthy people. So that's where we are right now.
Exactly. So we're excited. I mean, we're having fun. It is a lot of fun to do what we're doing, and Lord's just using us, and it's been a great time. So what you're going to start seeing, besides just videos of us together, you're going to see videos of us individually. Some of these will just be sometimes you'll see live streams of these events that we've done or doing. Then you'll see the archived version of it in some cases. Sometimes we'll just record it and then post it afterwards. Sometimes you'll see like a devotional video. We've uploaded a few already of you in a vertical format. And you're just sitting there talking about something. So you'll see a lot of that now. So you're going to see a new mix of content, and our son is trying to get to us. Hold on. You want to know what our son just was saying help me about? He's crying help him. He wanted a cookie.
I mean, if you really want a cookie, that is kind of an emergency.
Okay, well, we're gonna start a podcast for toddlers.
Listen, parenting is real.
Yeah,
but you know, we're in a new season of our lives. Mm-hmm. A new season in our lives concerning ministry. Even with our son, he's 4 years old. Like last time we talked to you guys, he wasn't 4. I don't think.
It depends on if we had it in August. Yeah, possibly.
I don't think. But anyway, he had his 4th birthday, and he's evolving to a whole different little person. Mm-hmm. Like his personality is really just coming more and more to the forefront. So, you know, as parents, we're having to navigate the whole world of discipline and structure and all those things, education, all those things. And it's been a ride.
All right, July. That's live stream is in July. You're right.
See, I told you it's been a minute.
But no, we released some videos after that, but that was it. But anyway,
but not like a lot. Nobody knew what's going on. So yeah, a lot has changed.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so no, that's where we are. That's the vein we're in right now. We're excited about the vein that we're in right now. And so we just want you to stay tuned and see the different types of videos that are going to be uploaded now. That's what I was saying before, that you're going to see different types of videos. And you'll still see videos with us together. And you guys sometimes submit questions. We're actually going to answer a question in a few minutes here before we wrap up and shut down today. But we'll do that. And even some of the live events that we'll do will be marriage couple-based events and things like that. So stay tuned and stay zoned in. So if you came here because of relationship and marriage content, I do believe you're still going to find value in the things that we're starting to talk about now. Absolutely. It's going to still just fit right in, and it's going to minister to you by the Spirit of God. So,
you know, like with anything that we've ever done, you know, we're still finding our way in this. You know, figuring out how exactly we want to present everything and put it together. And we're following the Spirit of God the way we believe that God is speaking to us. So, you know, if God says change and shift, don't ever do lives again, we're not gonna do lives again. Yeah. Like, we've always been that kind of people that we're not so attached to the way we've always done things, because we never set to even be on YouTube in the first place. It was never what we set to do. So we're not attached to it. At the same time, we're very, very thankful for every person that has ever subscribed, followed, commented, supported in any kind of way, because we don't take that for granted at all. It is a blessing and an honor to share the word, share the heart of God. And we get a lot of comments and people always saying how blessed they are and how inspired they are. And it's, you know, we're just being obedient. We're just being obedient, and we really, really, truly know it is the grace of God, and He's the only reason why we can do what we do.
Exactly.
I mean, truly, because we're not smart enough. We don't know everything. And I know people probably looking at our YouTube channel like, oh, y'all can do better. Y'all can do this. Y'all can do that. But it's not about us. It really isn't.
It's really about you guys.
Exactly.
And doing what the Lord says is necessary to help you out. All right. So with that being said, we should answer a family friend question. This one was from I actually did put this graphic up here so we can show this off real quick. All right, you guys should still be able to hear us. Yes. All right, so here's the question. Question is, and it's from a man, anonymous. How can I sustain my relationship when my spouse, my wife, is not in full support with my decisions, even though they turn out well afterwards?
I'm gonna let you handle this one, babe.
Yeah,
this is all you.
No, you're gonna have something to say.
I'm gonna jump in, but you go ahead and start.
So it's something about the way this question is worded that's pretty interesting. And I'm looking at it as I'm talking. Nat and Phil support my decisions, even though they turn out well afterwards. Couple red flags here. Well, number one, who is saying they're turning out well afterwards? You or her? Because in her opinion, maybe they're not turning out well afterwards. So you're saying she should support you because it turned out well afterwards, in your opinion, but are they? Secondly, what I don't understand, and I understand, but follow me here. What I don't understand is how decisions are being made without her being in agreement. Because you're talking about not being in full support, but then it seems like the decisions are also still being made. And my understanding of marriage is you make decisions together. And so you should be in agreement before there is a decision being made. That was one of the most valuable pieces of counsel I got in my premarital counseling, was the pastor sitting across from us, looking me in the face and saying, don't ever make a decision without your wife being in agreement. Even if you believe you heard from God, you got to wait until she hears it too. You share it with her, and if she's not in agreement, you sit on it and you wait. This man was a successful pastor, and he gave me an example that when he believed they were called the pastor, that was a decision he had to wait on because she didn't see it at first, and then God had to make it available to her. There are countless times, I won't take the time to give the examples, where that's happened in our marriage. Where I heard something and I had to wait.
Yeah, and I mean, there have been, in our growing as a married couple, there have been times when we failed to make that mistake, where it was like, we strongly believe that we ought to be doing this. And I think there were times where I felt like I was being dragged along and not really in agreement with it, even if nothing harmful came at the end of it. I still felt like I was being dragged and not totally full agreement. And whatever my trepidations were, sometimes women, we don't always know how to put our finger on something or know how to verbalize it and put it in a way that makes sense to the man, but we just have our feeling, like our intuition just be like ringing, and we're not ready to go that direction. And I trust my husband, and sometimes in my attempt to just kind of like, well, I'm just going to be a good wife and to go along with it, it still wasn't like something it was settled in my heart to do. So I felt more like I was being dragged along versus being in agreement, and nobody wants to feel that way. So as we matured over the years in our relationship, I began to really be more vocal, and you've been more open and to receive. And like you said, we started taking the advice of our pastor that married us, was like, you don't go unless you're both together, thinking the same way about it, believing the same way about it, seeing it the same way, because that's the only way it truly works. Even if, like this man said, it works out at the end, but your wife still is not in agreement. No,
because if you have support, then it's not working out.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it at that point to have success, because that's how you see people who are successful in different metrics, like financially or status, and then they end up divorced because there's something behind doors where there is not agreement. So how can I stay in a relationship? You can't sustain it by doing that and behaving that way.
Not continuously, no.
No. It's not going to be sustained. You're seeing the stretching right now. You're seeing the pulling. That's why you're asking this question. So you're going to have to change your dynamic. You're going to have to change your method. So the annoying thing for a man who wants to lead his household is, and I've talked to men one-on-one about this. I say, the most annoying thing about leadership is leading people who don't want to be led. And that's as a husband to his family, that's a boss on a job, leader of a company, elected official, whatever, leading people who don't want to be led. And here's the thing that I've learned. There was a lot of things, because we were building trust in a relationship, that I would have an idea of something I wanted to do, and you were slow to get on board with it because the trust factor wasn't there yet. But over time, you began to trust. And that trust came as you began to see successes on faith projects that I had with God one-on-one. What I started doing was, because I had prayer time with God, I would start believing God for certain things and making plans that I could make on my own with him that didn't necessarily have anything to do with the entire household. And I would share with her, this is what I'm believing God for. And what would happen is, those things start happening. They'll start coming to pass. And so that proved to you that I could hear from God. And so then when I would come with, thus saith the Lord, about something to do together, you began to have trust. And something that maybe a year previously you would have had trepidation on a hold up, you began to be like, okay, I think I trust you. Let's make the move. And so the reason I'm saying that is because what happens is you feel like it's going to take too long to get something done if I'm waiting on her. What happens is if you're building trust, that time frame gets more compressed, and more compressed until now I can say, babe, I believe the Lord's telling me to sow this dollar amount of seed. And you're like, all right, let's go. Let's do it.
But I also think to layer that, what you just said, I really start trusting you when you start valuing my opinions. Okay? When you would consult with me, especially you start major things that will affect our lives, you start consulting me and you start valuing my opinion. And it wasn't just, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And it became, let's brainstorm together.
Yeah.
Let's pray about this together. What do you hear in your heart about this? And, my opinion mattered.
Yeah.
That's when it really, I feel like my trust began to grow even greater, because I felt like I had the right to say, hold up, if something didn't feel right, and you will listen.
No, that makes sense.
Now, that's not to mean, this is not a bossy, I'm telling you what to do kind of move. This only really works in a trusting relationship, and you understand the heart of your spouse and how they communicate. And I also layer that with, we took a lot of time learning how each of us communicate.
Yeah.
And how we talk, how our brains, how our minds process information. And the more we learn that over the years, it's made our communication better, and it's made our agreement a lot more instantaneously.
That's a good point.
Or instant.
I kind of but didn't think about that aspect of it. But yeah, there was a lot of time spent as we were working on our marriage. We spent time, and I made it clear to you that I cared about your feelings, your thoughts, and that I wasn't here to steamroll you. Even if it seemed like that's where I was coming from, I made it clear that wasn't where I was coming from. We spent a lot of time actually dissecting our motivations. Exactly. And I realized if you don't know the motivations like that, it is going to be hard to trust.
Because you're a more fast-paced guy, and I'm more of a, I'm a more feel, and that's the most typical. Between
you're way more cautious than me. I have zero caution.
Way more cautious. So I might take a little time. Now there are times where I can be impulsive, and it's like, let's do it today. Whatever. No.
I got a perfect example of caution. This is why you don't make decisions. We were going through an issue with a job of a previous employer, and we were both going through the issue. We knew what it was. They had messed up my pay structure. They had lowered my pay and everything. And so one day I was like, I'm going to go in their office and tell them I'm now looking for other employment. And I said, and that's just it. I said, because I can't continue to work here for reduced pay. And my boss at the time happened to be out of the office when I had the idea. So I was like, okay, well, when he gets back, that died for me. I said, let me call my wife real quick. So I called you. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. It seemed like a great idea to me. And you were like, okay, well, why don't you, instead of saying that, no, I know what it was. Everything I just said was what your suggestion was. My idea was I was just going to go quit. That's what it was. I was going to go in office and just quit and say, this is my resignation today, or my 30-day resignation. Yours was, why don't you just tell them,
look, we got a baby. We got to we got to be smart.
And make it clear that this is the final straw. You've reached your limit. I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so I say all that to say that, like, I said, I'm a person with zero caution. I'll just go and do it because I know it's the right move. But what I learned was, even if God is speaking something to me, if I come and bring it to you and say, this is what I believe the Lord is saying, let me see your view on it. You're not necessarily, because you want to do the will of God too, you're not necessarily going to say, no, let's not do it. You might say, okay, well, can we do it this way? Or can we, does it have to be done at this moment? Or can it, and then I'll listen and be like, okay, yeah, that sits well in my spirit. I don't feel like we're disobeying the command of God. If we, okay, yeah. And then I realized, okay, there is more than one way to skin a cat. Look at you now. And that situation did work out. I ended up getting a raise and a promotion as a result of that. So her idea was a good idea. But what I'm saying is that's the value of having another perspective, because you can see, okay, this is going to work. And like you said, it seems like it works out. But wouldn't it be better to allow your wife to have her perspective and an input in the decision and it still work out?
Yeah.
And at that point, you have a partner in it. And it's a lot better to do something together than to do it alone.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, I don't know this couple and I don't know their communication dynamic. Yeah. But just based off of some of the things we've already said, you had to stop steamrolling. Yeah. And allow me to come up to your pace, or create the pace that we needed.
Yeah, I had to slow down on a lot of places.
So that we could be in agreement.
There's a lot of places where you had to speed up, and a lot of places where I had to slow down, and then we created a new pace based off of that. Exactly. There's a very good series, a couple of videos we did on the power of agreement, Becoming One, where that really dives in deep on some of these principles and the importance and the value, because Anonymous asking this question, you need to see the value. You really do need to see the value. Yeah. Yes, it should be that you love your wife and value her opinion, but you also need to see the value of agreement and how much better things could be in your success as a married couple if you both had the input together and were in agreement about it, and how the Lord blesses that. So make sure you watch that video, Becoming One, Power of Agreement. I'll send it to you so that you can, as a follow-up to the answer to this question. We bounced around a couple different things, but I think you really hit the nail on the head towards the end there about the value of the input and understanding each other. Because if you don't feel like your opinion, I mean, even kids, and you got to be smart with kids even, they've got to feel like they have some kind of agency, even when look, I run this house. Even if it's, I won't say you're deceiving your children, but like there was someone who made a video, was like, when you're teaching very young children, toddlers, you got to give them two options, and and you're cool with either option, but you got to give them some activity, some agency, some ownership of the process. Exactly. Otherwise, they're just going to say no and just resist. And oftentimes, even as full adults in marriage or in a workplace, just even for bosses and their employees, if you don't give your people input, if you don't give your employees input, they're going to constantly feel like the natural inclination of a human being is to resist. Yeah, to resist being pushed in a certain direction. You got to
feel like you have some control.
Yeah.
Because like roller coasters, that's why I hate roller coasters.
That's right.
You got to feel like you have some control, because that control brings a certain level of stability in you, and just I'm using the word comfort. It's not even the word I want to use. Security. Like roller coasters, no security for me. I don't want to be hosted down a track that's 2 inches wide.
There's no safety brake.
No safety brake. I can't stop it. I can't control the speed of it. Like I gotta have some control. And yes, there is a trust factor too. You gotta learn how to trust, and sometimes God take you on roller coasters. You gotta learn to say, I trust God. But even in that, it's still my choice.
Well, here's the thing.
To control.
Yes,
not control. My choice to let God take control of the situation.
Yes,
it's still my choice. It's still my choice.
Submission is voluntary. That's the
God don't drag us around. He give us a choice.
Exactly. Even for salvation, it's a choice. And I'll say this: we believe in male leadership in the home. We did a whole video on it, but that's not subjugation where you force your wife to do things and say you must do whatever I say. That's not at all. That's just complete misapplication of Scripture. But I'll say this: even God, when He is partnering with someone to get something done, takes their input. Mm-hmm. What did God do before the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah? He said, is it right for me to do this without talking to Abraham, who I made a covenant? So he went to Abram and said, now God is God. God's like, I can do whatever I really want. But he still received Abram's input. And Abram's input actually changed the course of what God was doing. Because of Abram's input, Lot got saved and removed from the situation due to Abram's input. So it still actually adjusted course. I mean, Moses, God was about to destroy the Israelites after they created the golden calf. And Moses said, God, don't do this. He listened to Moses, and Moses changed God's mind. So if God, the creator of the universe, will actually accept the input and will allow his mind to be changed by a man that he has made covenant and partnership with, I think we can do it between husband and wife.
And we have to, because we are in a covenant relationship. Exactly. We are co-equal partners in this relationship. Again, it's not subjugation at all. And a lot of people misappropriate the role of the man and the woman. So that's why we have the problems we have in relationships right now. The woman feel like she's in bondage, and the man's under pressure to try to be this leader, not utilizing his help the right way.
Exactly.
So, it works out for no one. So I hope that answered the question. That took a while to answer, but you got to kind of peel back a lot of layers to really answer that question correctly.
And that's why I said you can have some input on this answer because I had one perspective, you had the other perspective, and together you get the full picture. Yeah. So watch it with your wife too. I think it'd be good. All right. Praise God. I think that covers what we wanted to tackle today. Yeah. Just hanging out, saying hi, letting you guys know the direction of where we're going.
And, we got some stuff coming up in the first of the year. We'll announce that more as we get closer to that, y'all. We only got 2.5-ish months left in this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the year has gone by. We say it every single year, but it goes by faster and faster and faster. But I'm very, very proud of us this year.
We did do it. We
did it. We've done a lot this year. And even though we may not have talked about all of it here on YouTube, but we've done a lot this year, and we've stayed very consistent with what we believe God has put in our hands to do. And that's why we have so much expectation for next year. And it's almost like there's still things I want to check off the list before this year is out, but I cannot wait till next year.
Yep.
That's if God don't return before next year, because y'all stuff is moving in this world.
Yeah, we'd be perfectly fine with that.
We won't be mad about it, but it's like I just want to be about the Father's business, and it's so many people that still need to hear the gospel of Jesus. And but yeah, next year is going to be so sweet, and I'm here for it. I really, really am.
Amen. Praise God. All right, we love you guys. We'll see you next time on whatever next video we do. See you guys.
Bye.